would that do to the Democrats and their chances if Joe Biden was to stand down?
Well, I think their chances would be a lot better because, they have somebody who is healthier and, dare I say, more compos mentis in place. They have somebody who's going to, at least on the face of it, last the course for the next 4 years. So I think that will give Democratic voters more confidence because they must be worried about the state of Biden. In the video that's gone viral yesterday with everybody dancing around him and him standing there like he just soiled himself or something. It's one feels very bad for him. But that would give anybody comfort to see somebody like Newsom step in and be more energetic. So yeah, that'll help their chances.
Okay, well, let's talk about what else is happening in the UK. Right-wing, or Europe, I should say, because right-wing political parties have made significant gains in the European Parliament elections, which has led to French President Emmanuel Macron calling a snap election. Roger, why are more people deciding to lean to the right?
I think that, it's really quite interesting. I think that people in Europe are just sick of the lefty, woke, controlling, ridiculous, red tape way of life under the European Union, and they want out. And it's really quite paradoxical because the UK, Britain Brexited 4 years ago to get away from that stuff, and the Europeans are now 400 million. The majority of them voted basically to be Brexiteers and dump all the left climate net zero, all the rest of this stuff, while Britain is drifting or racing towards total wokeism, mass immigration, open borders, net zero, climate change, transgender. Whatever the Labour people can think of to make themselves popular, it's going the other way. It's just that, as we say in Britain, there's nought so queer as folk. It's amazing. Positions have just flip-flopped. Now, you mentioned Macron, and he's a very good example because he's been very badly beaten by Marine Le Pen's party, and he took a hell of a gamble. He's still young, like Sunak. Sunak knows that he's totally messed everything up, but he's got plenty of money and, he's young and he can go do other things and he'll be fine. And Macron is a bit the same, So he took this gamble saying, look, if you don't give me a mandate, then okay. If you don't, tell me you love me, then good. The difference is that with Macron, with Sunak, he's gone. He's toast. With Macron, he still is there for 3 years. He just sits there as a lame duck. So it was a daring gamble for him to take, but he was basically saying to all these right-wing people, put up or shut up.
I know we just spoke about Joe Biden, and I have to get your thoughts on what has happened to his son, Hunter Biden, who has been found guilty of 3 gun charges. That could see him jailed. Roger, what's your take on the whole situation?
It's fake. It's more of the same Biden Democratic lawfare. Not declaring that you've taken drugs on a form to buy a gun is, a pretty unserious crime in America. And nobody gets jail sentences for that. And it's a trap. And we're all supposed to go, oh, look at that. Justice is real. Oh, they haven't hijacked the American legal system. Oh, look at that. So the Trump convictions must have been honest. There was nothing fishy there because, look, they even put the president's son in the dock and convicted him. Oh, so all that stuff about Trump saying, that's all nonsense. Well, first of all, the trial occurred not in a Manhattan court with a judge, a traffic court judge, and a jury. Everybody else, it was very questionable in a place where they absolutely hate Trump, and they wouldn't let him change the venue, change the court. Whereas Hunter's case took place in the tiny state of Delaware, which is, I mean, would probably fit into the Sunshine Coast, you know? And it's been controlled effectively by the Biden family for generations. So, I mean, Joe probably got a phone call. Hey, Joe, Mr. President, do you want guilty or not guilty? I mean, you know, it's a fix. It's ridiculous.
So what do you make of the timing of it? Because it comes only a couple of weeks after Donald Trump was found guilty for falsifying business records.
Because it's meant to show you that the Trump convictions are valid, and there was nothing fishy about it, because only a few weeks later, it can go the other way for even the president's son. It's just a very clever ruse, that's all.
There's speculation, as you've alluded to as well, about these gun charges, that they're probably not the most serious charges that should be brought before Hunter Biden.
Exactly, but that's why it's a ruse. In other words, all the stuff in his computer, all right, so there's two things about Hunter, Gabriella. All the stuff in his computer, the alleged pornography, pedophilia, orgies, schmorgies, drugs, and then the other thing about Hunter is the peddling influence for large sums of money alleged to Ukraine, China, Russia. Now, impeachment proceedings are going on for the father, Joe Biden, in Congress about those influence selling and other improprieties, but he hasn't been charged, you know, with any criminal activity yet. So, I mean, they're not buying this, many Americans. This silly little, it's not even a gun charge, it's lying on a form. It's, you know, it's not the most serious thing in the world when he should be charged for all the rest of this stuff. So what this case, and you're right about the timing, does is it cleverly deflects the attention for all the serious things he's done wrong that he should be prosecuted for, they say. And secondly, it's the coup de grace. It puts the seal on the Trump conviction saying, oh, don't tell us that we've weaponized the legal system and the court, and it's all crooked, because look what just happened to the president's son. He's just been convicted.
So Americans, as you say, aren't buying it. What does this mean for the election?
Not all Americans, but many Americans, you know, those Americans who, you know, woke up and got out of bed this morning, they're not buying it. And what does it mean for the election? Not a hell of a lot, because, I mean, you can't tar Joe Obama Biden with the sins of his son. I'm just reversing the old saying, you know, sins of the father. You can't tar Joe with Hunter's sins. And Hunter hasn't been charged with their joint sins of selling influence, with Joe being at the meetings, being on the phone, all this other stuff to China, Russia, and Ukraine for apparently, allegedly vast sums of money. That's evidence that's being investigated in the impeachment hearings, but that's not a criminal charge in a court of law.
Dr. Roger Gewolb, really appreciate you coming on Power Hour and appreciate all your insight and analysis. Thank you.
Thank you.